Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We'll give you a second to log in. My name is Mary Ann Monteleone, and welcome to LIBOR's Wednesday webinar. We have a very special program set for you today with social media boot camp presented by Elevate with Pam Gee, and we'll let you settle in and join us. We have a great turnout today, and we're looking forward to hearing Pam on social media marketing for realtors. So welcome all, and we'll get started in just a moment. I want to be sure to introduce Pam and make sure I have this right. So forgive me, Pam, for reading.
No worries.
Okay. All right, we'll get started as everybody logs in and joins us. I'd like to introduce Pam Gee, Director of National Events for Elm Street Technology. Pam has been recognized as an expert in teaching agents the do's and don'ts about social media for 15 years. She has built a significant following of real estate agents nationwide based on hundreds of social media bootcamp classes that she has conducted. So without further delay, I'd like to introduce Pam to our LIBOR Education webinar series. Welcome, Pam.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Absolutely. And everybody, thank you for joining me here today. You're going to learn a lot of great stuff, but a little background about me before I get into that. I'm actually from Massachusetts. I'm not there now, as you can see. I am in Florida, in my house in Florida, enjoying myself in the warm, sunny weather. But typically what I do is I actually travel, all over the country prior to COVID, travel all over the country, talking in associations, in MLSs. And so I hear your concerns when it comes to social media. This class is going to be more of a discussion than anything, tips and tricks, do's and don'ts when it comes to utilizing your social media in your business. So we do have some people in the background that, well, actually Cheyenne's in the background. If you do have questions, please type them into the chat box. Easier to manage if we do them in the chat box than the Q&A. So type them into the chat box and she'll get those questions answered for you. At the end, we will have a question and answer period as well, but we're just going to keep the flow of the class moving. So again, if you do have questions, type it into the chat box. Also, feel free to take as many photos of the slides as you want. I know that Mary Ann is going to be emailing it out to everybody, but take pictures of the slides if you want to. Also, I absolutely encourage you to take notes. I'm going to give you again a lot of great information here. This class is not a class, however, that is going to be push this button, do this, do that. This is how you set this up. Again, it's more of a discussion. Okay. All right, so before we kind of dive in here, I want to get a general sense of who I have in the room with me. I'm not in the room, I wish I was, well, on the webinar. So, how many of you feel that you use your social media to its fullest potential when it comes to your real estate business? Go ahead and raise your hand if you feel that you use it to its fullest potential. Do I have nobody? Well, okay. That's why we're all here today, right? All right. With that being said, I want you to kind of think too about, what do you think your two biggest weaknesses are when it comes to your social media? Is it just kind of think about it while we're going through the program? Is it what to post, how often to post, what not to post? So just think about that while we're doing this presentation. Okay. So a little background of who Elm Street Technology is. We are actually a holding company, and we go around and we purchase best-in-class real estate-specific technology companies. We bundle them all together to create one platform called Elevate. You'll see some of our brands here listing, which I'm sure you're very familiar with. There's also a brand that is not on my slide yet, but it's IDX Broker, and I'm sure you've heard of them. But IDX Broker is another company that we've actually acquired. And you'll see us in Inman News. But also, I encourage you to go follow us on our social media. We have a lot of great trainings, a lot of great seminars. We'll let you know when we're able to come back into the area too. Looking forward to getting back on the road with traveling. But go follow us at Try Elevate RE on any one of these platforms, whatever platform you're comfortable with. Okay, again, a lot of great information there. All right, so I thought this was pretty interesting. You know, during this pandemic, you know, Google has actually reported the web traffic is increased by 20%. So now more than ever, it's important to have your online presence, you know, very robust and up to date because of that increase. More people are actually looking for properties online. More people are actually looking for real estate agents online. So again, very important to have your online presence and your social media presence full and robust and up to date. All right, so let's dive in. So the top 7 platforms that agents don't fully utilize in their marketing strategy are websites, blogs, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. I'm going to suggest that you are on every single one of these platforms. I know that sounds like a lot of work. It probably is, but it's important because there is a different demographic on each platform. Yes, there's some overlap for sure, but there really is a different demographic. But there's zero value for you to set up these platforms here today just to say you have them, okay? It's not good enough just to say you have them. You want to be active and consistent on all the platforms. You know, I meet with agents all the time and they'll be like, oh, well, you know, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and I think I set up a Twitter a couple years ago. I don't know. Or I have a LinkedIn, but I don't even know how to get in. So again, zero value if you're not going to be active and consistent. Now, for today's class, we're really going to concentrate on the first 6 platforms. And we're going to concentrate on the first 6 platforms because they have the highest in SEO value. Does everybody know what SEO means? It just means search engine optimization, or a free way to get found in the search engines. And it's just really the process of making your web presence easy to find and easy to crawl. Okay, so that's SEO, it's just free. Now, Instagram, great platform. If you're on it, stay on it. If you're not, get on it. But it is more photo-based, so it doesn't have that high SEO that the first 6 do. So again, for today's class, we're going to concentrate on building your social media value and your SEO value with the first 6. Okay. All right. So let's now talk about one of the best ways to build your SEO, and that's through blogging. Do I have any bloggers here today? Any bloggers? No? Okay. Just me. Maybe I can't see the raising of hands. I'm not sure. But if you are, great. Okay. So, you know, everybody's seen a blog before. There's all different blogs out there. There's cooking blogs, you know, fashion blogs, food blogs, real estate blogs. You know, it's really designed to make you look like an expert in something, right? So, but the whole benefit of blogging is content building, you know, so why do it? So content, we've all heard this, content's king. Well, what does that even mean? That means anytime there's any content posted to a blog, it forces the search engines to re-index, reanalyze your blog and potentially place it higher up in the search engines. Okay, so now you know the benefit of blogging and what a blog is. Where do you start? Well, probably most everybody on this webinar here today have their own websites. I always say, you know, hey, look at your website. A lot of websites nowadays do have blogging capabilities right inside of it. So go look at your website. But if it doesn't, there's all different platforms out there. There's WordPress.com, WordPress.net, Blogger.com, ActiveRain, you know, whatever platform. So now you know what platform you're going to blog on. What do you blog about? Well, probably not going to shock anybody here today, but what about blogging some real estate information? Okay. Now, but to be a really effective blogger, you first want to listen, right? You want to listen to what your sphere of influence is asking you all the time. You know, what are they asking you? You know, here's a big one. How's the market? What's a buyer's agent? What's a seller's agent? Do I need a home inspection? Should I stage my house? You know, all these questions they're asking you, they're also asking Google and the search engines, but it's also information that they want to know. Okay. So blog that information. Now, ideally, yes, it is a real estate blog. You're going to blog a lot of real estate information, but you don't have to be fixated on just blogging real estate information. You could blog things like DIY projects, how to paint your room to make it look bigger, kitchen updates in 2020, closet organization. You know, in fact, you could do something as simple as even a famous family recipe. It does not matter to Google. Content is content. Okay. And then what about listings? You know, listings are great to blog. Now, I know when you get a listing, you take your listing, you put it into MLS, which you all should be doing. But when you put it into MLS, it puts it into a database-driven format. And it takes your listing and it pushes it across 1 million+ different websites all at one time. Well, Google and the search engines actually avoid database-driven platforms. Okay, so instead, think about blogging your listing. Think about all the real estate-rich keywords with a listing. You know, condo, single-family home, luxury property, 123 Main Street. You know, all these great keywords. So blog that information. You know, and then what about blogging hyperlocal? You know, hyperlocal just means, you know, where do you concentrate your business? You know, talk about what's going on in that area. You know, your clients and prospects actually expect you to be that community expert, okay? So write about what's going on. I'm sure you all would agree with me about that. And it could be something as simple as, you know, I don't know, a lot of community events going on, but maybe there's a farmer's market, or there's an apple picking session, or, you know, apple orchard, whatever that is, it's going on in your community. Blog that information, okay? So, but a great opportunity, you know, with this crazy pandemic thing that we are all going through, why not become a resource in this time of people wanting information, you know? Link to the CDC website, even link to some of your government sites, you know? Even connecting to lenders, you know, everybody wants to know what's going on with those interest rates. But I'll tell you, I actually have a lot of real estate friends. I've been working with real estate agents for many, many years, and I have a lot of agent friends. And what I see that they're doing is they're actually blogging about local businesses. Now, I know that a lot of the restaurants in my area, and probably in your area as well, are struggling a little bit to keep their doors open, you know? So a lot of agents are going to the business owner, say, hey, I'm going to promote your business on my blog. And they talk about, you know, do you have curbside pickup? Do you deliver? Do you have a special menu? Do you have special hours? Do you have outdoor seating? Is it going to be cold if I sit outside? Or even the golf courses, you know, people want to know what's going on with the golf courses. So I see that a lot. So, you know, become that resource and, you know, blog about that. But I'll tell you, when you go to a local business and you start promoting them, it's a nice thing to do, but they're not going to forget the agent that reached out and tried to help them through this trying time. Okay, so again, multiple benefits for being that resource. All right, so now let's talk about some blogging guidelines. So a blog, you should be blogging a minimum of about once per week. Anything less than that can actually hurt you in the search engines. Quite honestly, just doesn't look very professional. You know, in fact, I met with an agent and she said, oh yeah, Pam, I'm a blogger. I went to her blog and the last time she blogged was April of 2019. So I said, yikes. If I'm a consumer and I go to your blog and the last time you blogged was April of 2019, what am I going to think? I'm going to think maybe you're no longer in the business, or you don't care about your business. And that wasn't the case. She was just too busy. Okay. But also it can hurt you in the search engines because Google does not want to link to a dead or inactive blog. Okay. So once per week is sufficient. Now, a blog post is typically minimally about 3 paragraphs. 3 to 5 paragraphs seems to be the sweet spot for Google and the search engines, but always have an engaging title as well. So what do I mean by that? So you can see here this article, Safety Hazards for Children Around Your Home. You probably read that. But what if I put, you know, safety hazards for children around your home, don't make these 3 huge mistakes. Well, now I have to read it. I got to see what those 3 huge mistakes are. So almost have a call to action in your title. And then always post a photo with it. You know, more times than not, people will actually read your blog if you put a photo with it. And then finally, make sure you have some form of lead capture on your blog. And that could be something as simple as a subscribe button, a contact me button, or just your contact information. But I want you to think about how important that is. Let's just say that I find your blog, you blog a new listing, I find your blog. Remember, blogs have very high SEO. I find your blog, I'm interested in that property. Well, you need to make sure I have a way to get in touch with you, or you have a way to capture my information. Now, a big concern I hear a lot when I talk with agents about blogging, and they tell me, like, I don't I don't have time for this, Pam. I don't know if you've heard, but real estate's really, really busy right now. Or I'm not a good writer. I can't do it. Well, you can actually have other people blog for you. You all work with different business professionals, right? You work with lenders, lawyers, home inspectors. Let's go back to that lender. Go to your lender and say, hey, can you write me 3 to 5 paragraphs of what's going on with the interest rates? I'm going to put you on my real estate blog. I'll put a link back over to your website. You might even get some business from it. You think your lender would do that? Yeah, absolutely. So again, have other people blog for you. But then finally, don't keep your blog just residing on that blog platform. You want to take that blog and you want to post it throughout your entire social media. And to do that, you're just going to go right to the URL. You're going to copy it. You're going to paste it into your social media. So when I click it, it drives traffic back over to your blog where I can continue reading. But there's also multiple benefits for doing that. You're increasing the SEO value because the more places you share that blog, the more relevant it becomes in Google and the search engines. But also, wouldn't you agree we're reaching a larger audience, right? Because there's a different demographic on each one of these platforms, but you're also developing great brand recognition and top of mind marketing. So again, multiple benefits there for sharing that blog. Okay, any questions on blogging? Again, go ahead and type them into the chat box. I know I have Cheyenne on this meeting and she can answer some of your questions for you. Okay, just want to see if there's anything pressing there. All right, perfect. All right, so let's now move on to the big one, right? And that's Facebook. Over 2 billion users on this platform. With over 70% of Facebook users logging in 6 to 10 times per day. Average time spent, 13 to 20 minutes each session. That's a significant amount of time we are on Facebook. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm totally guilty of it. It's the first thing I look at in the morning. It's the last thing I look at night. In fact, Facebook is reporting record high usage during the pandemic. So how many people in here actually have a business page on Facebook? I guess I can't see the hands raised. I don't know why, but that's okay. If you don't have a business page, you absolutely need to go create one today, okay? And here's why. So technically, you are not supposed to be doing business on a personal page. If Facebook sees that you are doing that, they can actually shut your page down or suspend it. It's called Facebook jail. It's a real place. And you don't want to go there, especially with the record high usage. Okay, but also business pages come with much lower privacy setting, so I can find it a lot easier. Business pages come with great tracking and analytics, so you can keep track of what's going on with your page. But business pages also come with opportunities for boosting in ads, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Now, when you have a business page, you want to be posting consistently about 2 to 3 times per week, but you want to be posting consistent, valuable information. So what do I mean by that? So, a lot of times I go to an agent's page and the only thing I see on that page is, new listing, open house. I love referrals, new listing, open house, sold listing, new listing, new listing. Well, that does not interest me unless what? I am looking right now to buy or sell a home. And I'm going to be honest with you, most of your sphere isn't looking right this very second to buy or sell a home. Hopefully one day they will, but right now they're not. So what kinds of information should you be posting that could be a value set to everybody? Well, what about those informational blogs that we were talking about, right? Blogs on childproofing your home, blogs on community events, blogs on famous family recipes. Isn't that valuable to everybody, not just people looking to buy or sell a home? Okay, so blog that information. But here's the mistake I see, and I see it every day. An agent will say to me, well, no, I do post blogs to my page. Or, you know what, I pay a company, they do it for me. I don't even have to worry about it. And a lot of times I go to their page and I see they are posting articles, but they're posting articles from Inman News, Huffington Post, Keeping Current Matters, House.com, Realtor.com, Zillow. Well, if I click that article, where does it take me? Right? Zillow, like the last place you want to send me, okay? So instead, you want to be posting those blog articles that you write that are self-branded. So when I click that article, it drives me back over to your domain name, builds your SEO, builds you as the expert, very effectively keeps me with you. The other way, if I'm just posting articles from other locations, Zillow, Realtor.com, really what I'm doing is I'm satisfying myself that I'm posting to my page, but I'm really driving traffic back to someone else's domain name, which in turn builds their SEO, builds them as the expert, and very effectively takes me away from you, okay? So an example here of what that looks like. Here's an article, you know, choosing the right luxury home location. If I click this article, it will bring me back to this agent's blog. Whereas this article here, 25 reasons why blue is the best color for your home, if I click that article, it's going to take me to countryliving.com. So you guys can see the difference here, okay? But if you do find an article that you like, I always suggest that you blog about it first, okay? We'll take this article, 25 reasons why blue is the best color for your home. What if you went to your blog and you said, hey, found this great article from countryliving.com about the best color is blue for your home. It's a great read. Here it is below. Put it in quotations. Cite where you got it. Don't rewrite it because that's plagiarism, right? Just cite where you got it and then share it to your Facebook. Because when I share it that way, if I click that article, that's going to take me back to your domain name, okay? Not to another location. All right, so now let's talk about photos and videos. You know, photos and videos create 40% more engagement on Facebook. It doesn't matter what it is. You could be at a broker's open house, you know, and there's a great landscape and you want to take a picture of, you know. People want to see that you're more than just the real estate agent, that you're also a person, right? So, and people like to connect to other people with similar interests. So maybe you're into biking or hiking or even walking your dog, a lot of engagement on pet pictures, you know. So really important to do those photos and videos. But let's talk about the number one way to increase engagement, and that's Facebook Live, okay? Now, I know it sounds a little scary. You're probably all looking at me and being like, yeah, no way, I'm not doing that. I know it sounds scary. It's kind of like FaceTiming your entire sphere of influence, but it is the number one way to increase engagement. I think are you guys doing open houses in your area? I know you can't raise your hand, but if someone could just type it into the chat box. Anybody? Okay, I don't know if you are doing, okay, you are, I see that, perfect, thank you. So, the great way to get your feet wet with doing Facebook Live is to do it at your next open house. Sorry, guys. Well, my computer went blank. Okay, so do it at your next open house. My computer's frozen. Do it at your next open house. So, you know, maybe an hour before your open house, go live, okay? Talk about the property, talk about your business, talk about the community. You know, think about how powerful Facebook Live is. You know, Facebook Live is, you know, I could be sitting at my kitchen table looking at my, you know, drinking my coffee, and I can be at your open house with you. Hey, turn around, I want to see that kitchen again. It looks great, okay? So I'm sorry about the technical difficulties there. So super powerful. Now, I do suggest, though, that you always have a pre-announcement. So if you are going to have an open house on Sunday, maybe at 11, maybe on Friday and Saturday, you know, go let people know, hey, I'm going to be going live at 11 o'clock. I mean, I'm sorry, at 10 o'clock at my open house. If you can't join me, but I'd love to see you there, but, you know, join me at my live event. So let people know you're going to be going live. And also, when you do go live, I'm alerted on my phone. Hey, Pam's live right now, okay? So again, a great way to get your feet wet is to do that Facebook Live. But I also see a lot of agents using Facebook Live to showcase those local businesses like I was talking about blogging. A lot of agents are doing Facebook Live events to do that. Okay, so let's talk about listings. You know, listings are great to post to Facebook. More eyes to those properties, the easier it is going to be to sell it, right? But here's a mistake I see, again, all day long. Agents understand the power of Facebook and the audience, right? Very large audience. And they take a bunch of pictures, they put it on Facebook, and they say something like, hey, everybody, check out my new listing, you know, 123 Main Street, 4-bedroom, 3-bath colonial, price to sell, won't last, DM me if you're interested or call me. Well, couple problems with a post like that. If I go onto that post and I start scrolling through those photos, do you have any way of knowing that I'm doing that? You don't, right? Unless I engage with it, you don't have any clue I'm even on that post. So there's no lead capture. Or, you know, what if I want school information? Because that's important to me. Can I get school information from a post like that? No. So I potentially have to go somewhere else. But even worse, what if you've piqued my interest in real estate? And I didn't realize I could afford that area, but you know what? I can. But I don't need a 4-bedroom, I only need a 3-bedroom. Can I search properties from a post like that? No. So I'm probably going to go to one of the national portals and search for properties. Okay. So all these things I don't want to have happen to you. So instead, you want to be posting your listings as an optimized listing post. And all that is a link to a website, blog, or landing page. Any one of those three, it does not matter, but it absolutely needs to have lead capture, so you have a way to capture my information. It needs to have full listing sheet, so I can get school and community information. And it also needs to have MLS IDX searching capabilities, because if that's not the property that I'm interested in, you want to make sure that I can search more properties, okay? And here's an example here of what an optimized listing post looks like. It is a title, photo, short description. I click this link. It does bring me over to a website, blog, or landing page with lead capture, full listing sheet, and MLS IDX searching capabilities, okay? So can everybody see the difference here of, oh, I post my listings to Facebook and I optimize my listings to Facebook? Because this one here drives traffic to your domain name, has SEO, has lead capture, and this one over here is just a bunch of pictures and a hope and a prayer that I'm going to give you a call if I'm interested. So just that minor tweak can bring such greater results, okay? All right, so now let's talk about how to gain a following, because I hear this a lot. You know, I'm active on my page, but how do I get more people to, you know, go like my page? We have a couple different ways that you can do that. You can, on your business page, there is a button that says invite friends. So you can invite friends from your personal page to like your business page. Because who's on your personal page is your sphere of influence, right? Friends, family, future clients, past clients, they're all on your personal page. So go ahead and invite them. You can also share from your business page to your personal page. You know, maybe you wrote a great article, got a lot of engagement on it. You know, so share it to your personal page and maybe say something like, you know, hey, everybody, if you like this article, go like my business page. I write one weekly. So ask your sphere to like your page. And then also, what about creating a custom handle? Okay. When you do have a business page, you do have the opportunity to create a custom handle. And you just go to settings, and one of the options is create custom handle. And all that is the @ symbol in your page name. Okay. But you want to advertise that everywhere. More times than not, people will actually connect with you via Facebook before they pick up the phone and call you. I'm sure you would all agree with me, okay? So make it easy for me. Advertise the actual handle, not just the icon that you're on Facebook, which I see a lot. And then also, what about doing an email marketing campaign? I know a lot of times your email contacts are different than your social media contacts. So why not do a campaign to those email contacts and invite them to like your page? Okay, a great opportunity there. Now, all of this is important, you know, posting photos, videos, gaining a following, you know, Facebook Live, all this is crucial to help build top of mind marketing, okay? And what I mean by that is, you know, you never want to go into your news feed and see it, and it does happen, I hear it a lot. Go into your news feed and see a real estate transaction that happened with someone you're connected with on Facebook, but it didn't include you. Okay, it wasn't that they don't like you, it's that you weren't top of mind, okay? So let me give you a good example of this. So about 8 years ago, I needed my siding power washed on my house in Massachusetts. And I hired a power washing company to come in and power wash my house. And he offered me a discount to like him on Facebook. And I don't know if you guys remember, that was a big deal back then. So I did because I wanted the discount. I don't really care what a power washing company puts on their Facebook page. But I'll tell you what, I still see him in my news feed every other week, every other month, every couple months. So if you were to ask me, Pam, do you have a power washing company in Massachusetts? Yes, I do. It's ABL Power Washers, Millbury, Massachusetts, like that. Okay? Now, when you think about that, that's after doing business with them 8 years ago, one time. Okay? So how can you put your business in that position? Well, what if you had all your friends and family, their friends and family, neighbors, friends and family, as many people as possible, like your page, see your updates, so when they think real estate, you're the name that comes to top of mind, right? Isn't that the whole game of real estate, being in front of home buyers and sellers where they're ready to buy or sell? And where are we, 6 to 10 times a day, 13 to 20 minutes each session? Facebook, okay? But also, how do you grow your following outside, or how do you grow your business outside of your current sphere of influence on Facebook? Well, a great way to do that is through ads and boosting. Okay, now, Facebook advertising is such a low cost, great return on investment if done correctly. So there's two forms. There's Facebook boosting and Facebook ads. The boost is when you post to your page, a little blue button appears that says boost post. Whereas the Facebook ads are created in the ads manager. If you haven't done any Facebook advertising, I absolutely suggest you start with the boost because the ads are a little bit more complex. There's different ad creation styles, different objectives, different lead capture opportunities. I don't have time in this class to show you how to do an ad, but if you want to learn more about it, you can go to facebook.com/business. They've just revamped that whole website, and you can find out everything you need to know about doing a Facebook ad. Okay, but we are going to do a boost together. Okay, so I post to my page, that little blue button appears, I click boost post. When I click boost post, Facebook is now going to ask me, well, what's your objective with this boost? Almost always I'm going to say it should be website visits, right? Driving traffic back to the website. Call to action. What's your call to action? You should always have learn more. It's non-invasive. We call it the millennial safe word. But if you're having an open house, you want to get directions, you certainly could do that. And then you're going to select your audience. Who do you want to see this boost? This gets pretty exciting here. So you can actually target people who like your page. Maybe you have a great following. And that's just going to ensure that everybody's going to see that post. But you can also target people who like your page and their friends. Because where does most of your business come from, right? Friends, family, and referrals. You can actually target that audience on Facebook. You can also target people by certain demographics, certain geographical locations, certain behaviors. You can even target people who are going to the website Zillow. Believe it or not, Facebook has that knowledge, okay? And if they're going to the website Zillow, probably interested in real estate, right? So you can actually target that audience. And then Facebook will say, well, what's your total budget? How much do you want to spend on this boost? Is it $10, $5, $20? Facebook cannot go a penny over whatever your total budget is. And then Facebook will say, well, how long do you want to run this ad? What's the duration? Is it 1 week? Is it 2 weeks? Once you put in this criteria, Facebook will say, well, with this audience and this total budget and this duration, you're going to reach between 1,000 and 2,000 people. If that matches your objective with the boost, just input your credit card and let it go. Okay, pretty easy. So let me give you a great example of how an agent that I know uses the boosting program, okay? So anytime that she sells a property, she goes to Facebook, she puts it on her Facebook, and she says something like, hey, everybody, just sold this property in your area. Curious to know what yours would go for, click here. But then what she does, she goes right into the location. She puts the exact address of that property. And then she draws a 15-mile radius around, which I know sounds huge, but you have to do that with fair housing and all that good stuff. What she's doing is she's targeting that entire area with her name attached, okay? She gets tons of business from it, and she spends as little as $40 on a campaign, okay? So really, really great opportunity there to do that boost, okay? And such a low cost. All right, any questions on Facebook boosting, ads, anything, postings? Go ahead, type them into the chat box again, and Cheyenne will get those answered for you. So let's talk about probably one of my favorite platforms, and that's LinkedIn, okay? Everybody knows it's a business network. People who buy and sell homes are actually on LinkedIn, but it also has very high SEO, meaning if I were to Google anybody's name on this webinar here today, I can pretty much guarantee on page 1 of Google is your LinkedIn. Now that can be a positive or a negative. The average homeowner is referred 2 to 3 agents, okay? And guess what? They do their homework, right? They are going to Google you before they meet you. And if I Google you and your LinkedIn is out of date and not active, and the other agent is all up to date, shiny, and active, who am I going to use? The active agent, okay? I hear it all across the country. So there's an activity log in LinkedIn, kind of like a news feed in Facebook, right? But it's just for business updates. It's not for vacation photos and cat pictures and all that stuff, right? That's Facebook. Leave that on Facebook. So what kinds of information should you be posting to LinkedIn? What about those informational blogs we've been talking about all morning? You know, blogs on childproofing your home, blogs on community events, blogs on, you know, DIY projects. You know, that's all great to post into your LinkedIn to help keep it active. Then what about posting your listing updates? That's part of your business. You know, post your listing updates, your sold listings, your new listings, your open houses. You know, actually LinkedIn is also an appropriate place that you can kind of go brag about yourself, right? Maybe you won an award, or you were agent of the month, or, you know, you just were recognized for something great you did in your community. You know, why not put that on your LinkedIn? And you want to be posting to this platform about 2 to 3 weeks, 2 to 3 posts per week. So 2 to 3 times per week is sufficient. But a big concern I hear a lot is agents will say, you know, I'm on LinkedIn, Pam, but, you know, the biggest group of people that want to connect with me are other local agents. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, why would I do that? Well, I'm going to tell you there's far more benefit to linking to other agents than not. Okay, now if you're afraid they're going to steal your connections, you can actually make those private. But there's far more benefit to connecting to other agents. You know, LinkedIn is actually the #1 agent-to-agent referral platform. I don't know if you guys know that. So absolutely important that you can get referrals out of there for connecting to other agents. You can use it on a listing appointment. Let your sellers know you're connected to, you know, 500 local agents on your LinkedIn. You're going to post their property on there. That would sound great to me if you were my agent. So again, great opportunity there with LinkedIn. All right, any questions on LinkedIn? Go ahead, type them into the chat box. And again, Cheyenne will get those answered. All right, so let's move on to Twitter. I'm trying to keep this to like the 45, 50 minutes. So let's talk about Twitter. So the biggest demographic still to this day on Twitter are the millennials. And who are they? Well, that's your next biggest group of first-time home buyers. And I can attest to that because my son just bought a house and he's a millennial. But it's also an open forum. So unlike Facebook where I say, hey, can we be friends, yes or no, I can just go to your Twitter and read your tweets, right? And because it's an open forum, it has very high SEO, meaning that, you know, tweets can actually be found in the search engines, okay? So what kinds of things should you be posting to your Twitter? Again, informational blogs we've been talking about all morning. Now, you can't put 2 to 3 paragraphs on Twitter because there is a 280 character limit. So you just want to put a little bit of information on Twitter with a link back over to the blog where I can continue reading. And remember, we've already talked about that in the blogging guidelines. And then what about listings? I'm going to tell you listings are probably the most important tweet that you can have because of that biggest demographic on here. But just like Facebook, you want to post your listings as optimized listing post. Remember, that's that title, photo, short description. I click that link, it brings me back over where, you know, there's lead capture and I can get more information. So just as important on this platform as it is on Facebook. And you want to be posting about 2 to 3 times per week on this platform as well. Now, a big question I get asked is, do I need a personal Twitter and a business Twitter? There's really no such thing, right? Twitter is Twitter. They're completely fine with you mixing your business and your personal on one account. Now, I say that's fine only if you are not on Twitter getting in all kinds of Twitter wars with everybody and posting controversial content, okay? Now, if you are, you just need to set up a different Twitter account, and all you need is a different email address, okay? But if you are doing that, absolutely set up a new one. All right, so any questions on Twitter, again, type them into the chat box, and we are gonna move on to YouTube. Does anybody know who owns YouTube? Right, Google. It's actually the 2nd largest search engine, 3rd most visited website on the internet, and actually watched more than cable television by millennials and my 14-year-old, right? Such high usage. You can find out anything on YouTube. Over 1 billion users, so a very large audience as well. But what kinds of things can, and actually I want to say that it's probably one of the most underutilized platforms in real estate, although probably a little shift in that now with what's going on with COVID. But what can you use this platform for? Well, what about doing listing virtual tours? Now I'll tell you, it doesn't matter if you hire, an expensive photographer to do a video, or you do a drone video, or you just even take your phone, take a bunch of pictures, stitch them together, and put music to it. It does not matter to Google. But what does matter is that you always put the title and the description. In the title, you want to have the address, what kind of property it is, single family, condo. In the description, you want to be very descriptive of what that property has. So that great opportunity there, just don't skip those steps. If you do skip them, Google has no way of finding those videos, okay? And what about using YouTube for educational videos? I actually have a agent friend of mine, she does, how's the market Monday? She puts her phone on her dashboard, don't do that, but she does. And she does a 60-second video on what's going on in her market, But maybe you don't want to do the talking. You can actually have other people do the talking. Let's go back to the lender. Let's say that, hey, can you do a 2-minute video or less on what's going on with the interest rates? I think your lenders would do that. Maybe you don't want to do the talking, like I said. But my favorite way to actually use this platform are video testimonials, okay? Video testimonials are so powerful. The best time to do it is, at the closing table, if you're going to the closing table, or right after, ask them, say in 2 minutes or less, can you give me a quick video testimony of how you liked working with me? And then you want to take that video and share it throughout your entire social media, okay? And if they allow you, tag them on Facebook. When you tag them on Facebook, most of their friends and family are actually going to see that post, okay? They're going to hear the excitement because you just handed them the keys to their dream home, and almost instantly you become authentic, right? Isn't that one of the biggest challenges in your business, is to create that trust? Well, almost instantly you can do that with a video testimonial, okay? And then finally, don't keep your YouTube video just residing on your YouTube channel. You want to take that and share it throughout your entire social media. No matter what the video is, you want to share it throughout your entire social media, okay? All right, any questions on YouTube? Again, type them into the chat box. And let's move on to websites. I know we talked about, how important your online presence is. This is probably the first place that I would look, right? Because it's like your online fingerprint, the front door to your business. But most brokerages do provide a free website, right? And I do suggest you take that, but I don't suggest you rely solely on it for your business. And here's why. Agents typically move every 4 to 7 years. So what happens if you move out of that brokerage? What happens to your website? Gone, right? What happens to all the SEO you built over the years? Gone. And what happens to all your branding? Gone. You have to start over, okay? So in conjunction with what your broker provides, I always suggest that you have your own website, one that you can take anywhere with you, okay? Now, when you do have your own website, you want to make sure it's a client resource, a place where I can get maybe a free market analysis, school and community information, maybe even read a little bit about your experience, okay? Also, make sure it's neat and clean. Gone is the day, okay, that you have a website that has all these moving parts and it's like a roadmap and I don't even know like where to go, all right? Neat and clean. Always make sure you have IDX MLS searching capabilities on the website. Don't rely solely on your properties. Maybe they're fantastic, but it's not what I'm looking for. So make sure you have that IDX searching capabilities. And then also make sure you have some form of lead capture that will put them into a CRM that will incubate the leads, send them similar properties, have tracking, productivity systems, everything a CRM should have. Also make sure the websites are mobile responsive, okay? And all that means is, and I'm sure we've all seen this, all that means is if I were to pull up your website on my phone, it takes it from being horizontal and puts the whole thing vertical, okay? Puts the whole thing vertical. And that's important because 97% of people actually start their real estate search online, on their phone, I should say, okay, and online. So mobile responsiveness is the here, the now, the future platform, and most websites are actually nowadays built on that platform. But most websites are static, okay? Meaning, if you're not always in there changing content on the website, it just gets placed in the search engines and sits there. Kind of like taking a business card, putting it on a bulletin board, and staring at it and hoping it's going to move, right? It's not going to move itself. So how do you make your website more dynamic? Well, you make your website more dynamic by connecting to things that are always changing. So what's always changing? What have we been talking about here today? Okay, you know, blogs, you know, social media. So let me give you an example of what a more dynamic online presence looks like, okay? So you have your website, it's a client resource. You know, I can search for properties, read about you, it has a CRM, everything we talked about with the website. But inside that website should be an embedded blog. Meaning anytime there's any activity to that blog, it forces the search engines to re-index, reanalyze that blog and the website because it's under one domain name. But then you take that blog with all your real estate rich keywords, your listings, your market updates, whatever you're posting, and you share it to your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your Twitter, YouTube. We just ran out of room on the slide over here, but where's it all pointing back to? Your website. This is called linking and backlinking, taking one piece of information, sharing across multiple touch points, all driving traffic back to one central location. This is absolutely huge for SEO because, you know, everybody see the difference here of a dynamic online presence and a static online presence, okay? Because I have bad news for you. Most real estate websites are static, meaning if you are not, because the only thing changing on a real estate website is what? Listings. And I've already talked about how listings are database driven and avoided. Okay, so instead you want to have this more dynamic online presence with, you know, all the content changing. Okay, any questions again on the website, go ahead, type them into the chat box. So question for the group: online social media marketing is essential for the real estate business. I'm sure everybody will agree. And I can't see your raised hand, so I'm going to have everybody go to the Q&A, not the chat, the Q&A box, okay? How many people here today now, after leaving this class, are inspired to go start Facebooking, tweeting, blogging away? How many? Just type it into the Q&A because I can't see your raised hands. And I worked really hard, so I hope a lot of you say yes. Okay, awesome, awesome. A bunch of you are saying yes. That's awesome. All right. So, you know, a lot of times I hear agents, you know, they don't have the time to do it. Like we talked about, real estate, super busy. I don't really have the knowledge of all the platforms. You know, I know Facebook and LinkedIn, but I don't understand any of the other platforms or even how to put it all together, okay? So this right here is going to conclude the educational webinar that we have. Thank you for joining me here today. But if you do need a little help, a little assistance, or even a lot, I do have a program that I can share with you. You know, you can get in touch with me. I'm going to put my information here. You can get in touch with me and we can set up a one-on-one and go over what that solution looks like. But for those of you who, you know, join me here today, you want to get some great takeaways. I'm sure everybody enjoyed the class, I hope. And you guys were a great group. I saw a lot of interaction. If anybody does have questions, go ahead, type them into the Q&A box, and I will get those answered publicly for you. Would you recommend also use Google Free Business Page to blog? So I would say, I mean, you can use it, but more bang for your buck is to have, you know, the blog that can be shared throughout your entire social media. So not just on a Google platform. Amit, if you go ahead and you can get in touch with me, or you can even just type in schedule me into the chat box and I can go over what our program offers. And we are going to be emailing out, I think that Marianne had said that we are going to be mailing out the copy of the presentation.
Hi, Pam. It's Marianne.
Hi, Marianne.
Thank you so much for a great and informative webinar. I just put in the chat that the recorded version will be found on our website.
Mm.
So
You are right. Yep.
yeah,
Perfect.
so we will let our members know at lirealtor.com/COVID. And all of our member webinars, you know, our series will be there for along with this one.
All right. Perfect. Perfect.
So
okay. All right. That's awesome. Again, great group. Any more questions? Go ahead, type them into the Q&A box. Richard Meckers, I would like to blog, not sure where to begin. Okay. Nayla, go ahead and type in schedule me and we can talk about blog platforms. All right. I am going to, I'm just going to turn my camera off and mute myself, but I'm going to keep watching that Q&A. Oh, we got another one. Okay. So I'm going to be watching the Q&A. So if you do have any questions, Marianne, do you have any questions for me?
no, I think that's it. Thank you. And I look forward to working with you again. Thank you for a great
absolutely.
webinar for our members, and be well and safe.
All right. Thank you so much. Again, I'm still going to be here. I'm just going to mute myself, and then in about 5 minutes, I will log off if there's no more questions. Thank you very much, everybody. Again, you were a great group. I really appreciate you joining me here today, and I really appreciate the interaction that you did have in the background. Okay, thank you very much. Stay safe out there, everybody. Great meeting you, Marianne, and I will talk with you soon.
Same here, Pam.
All right, thank you.